Remember, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
Now I know it's only September, but if I told you this in November, then you'd have to wait a whole year to wear this t-shirt I designed. But I should probably tell you the story on why you should get the shirt. So here's V for Vendetta.
I promise you it'll be like nothing you've ever seen.
So we meet Eevee Hammond, who stupidly took too long getting ready and ends up outside after curfew. See, after a worldwide plague and the downfall of democracy, England is one of the only safe places left. Well, safe-ish. It's run by a fascist government that regulates everything. So when Eevee's caught 30 seconds after curfew by the feds, they tell her that her punishment is a good old-fashioned gangbang.
All you have to do is cooperate.
But before they can run their train, this guy in a mask comes up and kicks all their asses.
Violence can be used for good.
He invites her to watch a show with him, and then takes her onto a rooftop so she has the best view to watch the Old Bailey building blow up.
I can't believe you watched that shit.
He chose to do it right after midnight on November 5th to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day and to remind people to rebel against tyrannical governments.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
His mask is also of Guy Fawkes, and he tells Eevee to call him V.
Why V?
The only verdict is vengeance, a vendetta, held as a votive, not in vain.
Alright, I get the picture.
The next day, Chancellor Sutler, the asshole in charge of the shit show, is getting an update where Police Chief Inspector Finch has no idea who V is, which is understandable when the head fed, Creedy, tells him that they have kidnapped all the witnesses.
I just want a chance to talk to her before she disappears into one of Creedy's black bags.
The top surveillance guy, Etheridge, says that people are talking about the Bailey a lot, and the propaganda guy, Dascom, says that he'll push that the government blew up the Bailey because it was falling apart, and that's put out on the British television news, where Eevee happens to work. So looking back, you'd think that she would know the lineup well enough to leave before the show she was hate watching right before curfew starts, before it ended.
I must have been out of my mind.
She then meets with Gordon Dietrich, one of the top stars of the network, and it turns out he's who she was supposed to see last night, and apparently set the meeting time at curfew so she wouldn't be able to leave until morning.
I wish someone had the balls to tell that brat that this station ain't his playground.
But at the same time, Detective Finch breaks into her apartment because they have pictures of her from last night, and as soon as they break in, they find her expired security badge without even looking around, and head to the TV station. But V got there first, and is strapped with a bomb. They evacuate the building, but Eevee's recognized by the cops, so she runs and hides.
But she didn't do anything wrong other than be a little bit late.
It doesn't matter. She was spotted with a terrorist, so now she's a terrorist.
She's in deep.
And they really don't have due process anymore. Instead, they just grab people off the street and they're never seen again.
It was like those black bags erased them from the face of the earth.
But V takes over the emergency broadcast system and tells everyone in England his plan. He wants everyone who's pissed off at the government to join him next year to watch him blow up Parliament. He also tells them that he blew up the Bailey and that the Chancellor and his goons are lying liar faces.
We did what we had to do.
The cops want to stop him, but when they break in, they find out that he had a bunch of masks delivered to the station and put them on a bunch of people. Then he set a bomb to go off so they would have to evacuate him. So they do, while Dascom, the propaganda guy, defuses the bomb.
How hard can it be?
One of the hostages sells V out, but when they check, the guy's gagged. See, V pulled a sneaky and kills all the cops, and they die.
People in masks cannot be trusted.
But as he escapes, Dominic sneaks up behind him. Then Eevee maces him, and V beats him up. But Dominic knocked her the fuck out, and V isn't sure what to do with her, but eventually takes her with him. She wakes up in his bed, surrounded by banned books, and hears banned music playing.
Please, don't make me listen to your music.
He finds her checking out his crap, and tells her that she can't leave for a year, otherwise the feds will torture information out of her. So she throws a baby fit.
You should have left me alone. Why didn't you just leave me alone?
So is she wishing he had just left her at the station to be abducted and tortured? Or just let the feds put stuff up her butt?
By sunup, if you're not the sorriest piece of arse in all of London, then you'll certainly be the sorest.
Either one, she's not very specific.
Well, no good deed goes unpunished.
But Finch and Dominic look into her background and think she's an extremist because her parents were, so it's probably better that she stays hidden.
I'm sorry, but a man in my position survives by taking every precaution.
We also find out that they took footage of them shooting a hostage and used it to look like V was killed so people won't get any ideas about joining him next year.
Pretty sure this guy's a war criminal now, but whatever. I have to show these videos. It's required by the state.
The next morning, V makes Eevee some comfort food to make her feel better, and we see that he's got some really bad scarring on his hands.
Were you burned by acid or something like that?
He tells her that he wants to blow up Parliament to inspire people to fight the government, but she's like, good luck, everything sucks, and it's just gonna get worse.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Yeah, they're all gonna die.
That night, V uses Eevee's security pass to break into the station's red-pilled jackass reporter Louis Prothero's apartment, and catches him watching himself brag about how he would have stood up to V. But when he sees V, he falls flat on his ass.
I wish I'd been there. I wish I'd had the chance for a face-to-face. Just one chance, that's all I need.
Then V reminds him of his time torturing prisoners, and he realizes that he's the prisoner who escaped when the prison burned down.
Why won't you die?
Finch gets a call telling him that Prothero's been murdered, and Dascom decides that they should say it was a stroke. Then they try to figure out why the guy who wants to take down the government for being tightwad assholes would kill the guy who basically was the spokesperson for the tightwad assholes. And they come to the conclusion that it must be personal.
How'd you come up with that guess?
Guess? That ain't no guess.
They find out that he was in charge of a prison when he was a commander in the military, but no one will talk about it.
You really want to know?
You wanna know? I wanna know!
Meanwhile, Eevee caught V acting out the Count of Monte Cristo and wants to watch the movie with him. And after it's over, they see a report about the dead asshole, and she knows that they're lying. She asks V if he did it, and he's like, fuck yeah, and I'm gonna kill more people too.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're witnessing is sweet dick-kicking revenge!
Then she tells him that her parents protested the government after her little brother died, and offers to help. And he takes her up on it a few days later. He wants to kill a priest that used to work at the prison, so he has her dress up like a little girl to distract the pedophile. And when he comes in, she warns him that V wants to kill him.
Who would help protect a pedo?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Just a sick world we're living in. Sick people.
But she wants him to protect her from the feds, but then admits that she unlocked the window so V could get in to kill him. He doesn't believe her and just wants to get laid, but when V comes in, he realizes his mistake. But now V knows that she betrayed him, and she doesn't have any government protection, so she fucks off.
Because of what you've done, what you plan to do.
Outside, one of the surveillance vans stops to check in on him. They're laughing about what he seems to be making the little girl do, but because they don't realize it's the bishop being attacked, they're a little slow going in, and he dies.
What were you waiting for?
I still have this fucking hard on.
Finch comes in to investigate, and had just been talking to Dominic about how weird it is that a priest was on the payroll for a prison and made a shitload of money doing it. And he figures he must have been into some shady shit. But it's a little weird that they would have to pay him that much when they could have easily just blackmailed him for the pedo shit.
The money you could have saved.
But before Finch can really investigate, Creedy comes in. He wants to know why Finch hasn't caught V yet, and Finch tells him that it's a little hard to run an investigation when the feds kidnapped all the witnesses. Creedy tells him to back off looking at the prison, otherwise they're gonna think he's working with the terrorists.
His only chance will be to offer them someone else, some other piece of meat.
Then later, he meets with the coroner, and since she used to be a botanist, he asks her about the flowers V leaves on his victims. He then gets a call from the detective, warning him that everybody who used to work for the prison is now dead, except one doctor who they can't find. They think she must have changed her name, and now they really gotta find her.
Wouldn't he have just killed her too?
No, because they find out that she's the coroner that Finch was just talking to.
You couldn't have told me sooner?
They take off to her house, but V's already there, and they talk for a while, and she gives him her journal, but he just leaves it for Finch to read. Finch tells the Chancellor about the journal, and without even knowing what's on it, the Chancellor tells him to forget about it, and that it's unsubstantiated fake news and to bury it. But he already read that she experimented on prisoners trying to figure out how to make people stronger and immune to diseases. Almost everybody died, and then the prison burnt down on the 5th of November, and the only survivor was the guy in room 5, who couldn't even remember his real name, because when they experimented on him, he got complete amnesia, but also lost the ability to feel pain.
I can't feel anything anymore.
Like Ajax?
Yeah, and that's why he can kick everybody's ass.
It enhanced my reflexes. Also scorched my nerve endings so I no longer feel pain.
Meanwhile, after Eevee left V, she ran all the way to Gordon's house in her Lolita outfit. Luckily, she had his address on her, even though she would have had no reason to take it with her to work.
Why'd I do that?
She feels bad that she could get him in trouble, but to put her mind at ease, he shows her a secret room with a whole bunch of banned crap and lets her know that he's gay, which is illegal now. And very odd that he would have his beard show up after curfew instead of an hour before when people could witness a girl coming over, which would have been the whole point of her coming over that first night.
Notice you've copied my beard?
So he lets her stay a few days, and they watch a show where he makes fun of the Chancellor and how he wants everybody to think that V is dead. Eevee freaks out, but he's like, ooh, big whoop, I made fun of somebody. What are they gonna do? But the Chancellor's been told that no one's buying the bullshit that V's dead. So he's super pissed when he sees the show. So that night, Gordon's house is raided, and he's taken by Creedy. But Eevee sneaks out, but is grabbed as soon as she sneaks out the gate.
Gotcha, bitch!
She's offered the chance of release in exchange for some information on V. But even though she just sits there in shock, they take it as a no and imprison her. They shave her head, hose her down, and throw her in a cell with food a rat wouldn't even eat.
That sounds good.
But after days or even weeks, she finds a letter in a little rat hole. This chick Valerie wrote it on toilet paper, and she finds a new one every day after she's taken out of her cell and waterboarded. She gets more determined as she reads this chick's story about the government hating her for being gay and kidnapping her girlfriend while she was out grocery shopping.
If she was just out grocery shopping, how would they know she was gay?
I don't know. She must have been wearing an I Heart Pussy shirt or some shit.
Picked up on a little bit of that lesbian vibe.
But this inspirational crap makes Eevee not want to break. And eventually, she's told that she'll be executed that day if she doesn't tell him something. And she's like, okay. Then, when they take her back to her cell, she's given one last chance. And when she says no again, he just fucks off and leaves the door open. She walks out to find the guard in the hall was just a mannequin, and that she's really in V's underground base. He's like, woohoo, you're free now. And she just goes into shock. She can't believe that he tortured her, but he's like, you kinda asked me to.
What?
Well, when she asked him if she could help, she said that she wished she wasn't afraid.
But didn't she only offer to help so she would have a chance to escape?
Yeah, but he figures it was true, and doesn't consider that she was willing to help a pedo for a chance to escape. And this was before he tortured her.
Our integrity sells for so little, but it is all we really have.
But after deciding that she was ready to die, finding out that her life wasn't really in any danger gives her a panic attack.
That's funny. Usually the other way around.
A little while later, she goes to leave, calls him a monster, and is like, how could I be so stupid to believe these toilet paper notes? You even gave her a V name. But he's like, I didn't write that note, and shows her that Valerie was real. She wrote those notes and passed them to him all those years ago, and he smuggled them out of the prison that exploded, even though he was completely naked when he escaped.
Where did you hide that?
He asked her to come back before he blows up Parliament, and she's like, okay, but they don't really specify a time.
Well, she knows what day.
True, but he might have a lot of setup to do that day. It's not like he can just leave a shit ton of explosives laying around where the government can find it.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
So she leaves, and he throws a baby fit that she's mad that he tortured her.
Not what I expected.
Meanwhile, the Chancellor's pissed that they haven't found V yet. They figure that he'll attack Parliament in a plane, but Finch thinks that he'll use a train. Everyone else thinks he's stupid because all the tunnels are sealed. Now they're pretty sure that they can stop him from blowing it up, but they're really worried about the public supporting him. So Dascom bombards the news with fear porn to remind everybody that the government is the only thing that protects him from the big scary world.
Any protester, any instigator will be made example of.
They even go as far as blaming the bio attack that happened 14 years ago on him, even though they always told people it was religious extremists and that those people were tried and executed already.
A story can be true or false.
So Finch is still looking into the prison and realizes that the people V killed all have connections to the cure that saved London from the pandemic. Finch and Dominic start to wonder if the government was involved, and eventually get a response from one of Creedy's original black baggers that disappeared over a decade ago. They meet with him, and he tells them that Sutler, Creedy, Prothero, the pedo priest, and the doctor were all in on the conspiracy.
They probably figured that out.
See, the doc experimented on the patients until she found one that was immune, then created a cure for the disease. Then Creedy decided that they should use it on their own citizens and blame it on anyone they didn't like.
Immigrants, Muslims, homosexuals, terrorists, disease-ridden degenerates.
Oh, I thought you guys were dicks before.
So when this happened, a bunch of people freaked the fuck out and voted for a piece of shit that should have never even been on the ballot because he gave them somebody to hate.
This is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Then once he was elected, they brought out the cure and just pretended that they didn't have to torture a bunch of people to get it.
How could they do all that without anyone figuring it out?
Well, some did. When Eevee's brother died because of the St. Mary's attack, that's what made her parents protest Sutler. But with them murdering, kidnapping, and brainwashing anybody who disagreed with them, the people just eventually shut up. Hell, Finch has been a member of Sutler's party for almost 30 years and just thought that all the people protesting were idiots. But now that he knows about the prison, he's taking it seriously.
Son of a bitch sat there and spoon-fed me that bullshit, and I ate it up!
The guy then tells Finch that if he puts Creedy under surveillance, he'll bring him some evidence that he has hidden, and then he fucks off. So Finch does put Creedy under surveillance, but V comes in as he's gardening in the dark. He tells him that Sutler put him under surveillance because he plans to blame him if V's able to blow up Parliament. So V offers to turn himself into Creedy if Creedy turns Sutler over to him.
So he's going to turn his boss over to a terrorist so that the terrorist will turn himself in?
Yeah, and then he can take his place like a Sith apprentice.
I am more powerful than the Chancellor. I can overthrow him.
But he doesn't know that V pulled a sneaky, like Finch does once he finds out that the guy he thought he met with has been dead for over 20 years. So it's now about a week before the deadline, and the Chancellor is freaking the fuck out, especially after packages of Guy Fawkes masks are delivered to everybody in London. Sutler demands that anyone wearing a mask be arrested, and since no one regulates the feds, one of them kills a kid wearing one. So naturally, people freak the fuck out about a child being gunned down and start rioting. So he turns the army on its own citizens.
What an idiot. That's a guaranteed way to get people to hate you.
Yeah, you'd think.
It tested well with focus groups, alright?
But he also ramps up the attacks on Creedy, so he signals V that he's willing to hand Sutler over.
Traitor!
On the 4th, Eevee shows back up, and V takes her to the subway where he has a train rigged with a crap ton of explosives.
A bomb? Yep. And you leave it lying around?
He tells her it's up to her to decide to blow it up or not, and that he's gonna go die because he doesn't deserve to live since all of this is his fault.
What? The people he killed, tortured, and killed innocent people.
Yeah, but his blood made it possible for all those guys to kill like 100,000 people. So in his mind, it's all his fault and he deserves to die. So he fucks off, leaving her with a train full of explosives that have just been chilling down there because nobody took Finch's theory seriously.
Well, as your professional annotations, Mr. Finch, they are irrelevant.
V meets with Creedy, who came with some soldiers, but V still goes down to him before confirming that Sutler's there. When he's brought out, he cries like a little bitch, and then Creedy shoots him in the head, and he dies.
But how is he sure that it's the Chancellor if Gordon had lookalikes on his show?
Shut up. An actor probably would say something about not being him during the begging for his life portion of his performance.
Don't hurt the face, I'm an actor. My name's Trevor Slattery.
But after he kills Sattler, Creedy tells V to take his mask off, but V won't do it, so a couple of goons attack him, and they die. Then the rest of them open fire, but he's still alive, so he kills everybody else and goes after Creedy.
Okay, I know he doesn't feel pain, but bullets can still kill him.
Ideas are bulletproof.
Well, he put on some armor, and the master's super strong, so while he is gonna die, he's doing it real slowly. So he grabs Creedy, breaks his neck, and he dies. V then stumbles back to where Eevee is with the train, and then he dies. So she puts him on the train, and that's when Finch shows up and sees that V's dead, and is like, woohoo, it's over. Turns out, he's been searching the tunnels on his own time, and I guess he heard all the gunshots, and then followed the blood trail, but somehow also doesn't know that Sutler and Creedy are dead.
Your powers of observation continue to serve you well.
He tells Eevee not to send the train, but she's like, fuck that. If anybody shows up, they deserve to see a show. So at midnight, she sets it off and hopes someone shows up. And they do show up. I mean, everybody. Like, seriously, all of London. They left their kids in bed, TVs on, hell, even some of them learned to walk again.
It's a miracle.
But they come from all directions and walk right up to the soldiers. The guy in charge is frantically trying to get somebody on the phone, so he doesn't have to be the one who decides to start a massacre, but nobody answers. So he has the soldiers stand down, and everybody just watches the show.
Good guys win, bad guys lose, and as always, England prevails.
That's quite enough of that, thank you very much.